Call this budget meeting to order, 5 p.m.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Gordon?
Thank you all for coming this lovely Tuesday. The first item we are going to talk about is capital asset purchases. If you go to the PowerPoint with the tree and rings, there's a total of 1,000 rings on that tree. We'll start there. When you open the packet to page 1 where it says 5-year projection, these numbers are showing us what the total cost per year is going to be. So I reached out to each individual department, and that department submitted what they believe that they need to spend money over the next 5 years is. Now remember, they believe they need to do that. You make the decision of should we do that or not. So if we go to this following page, page 3, where it says 2020 assets cost by fund department. Fund/department. On the left side, you will see what those items are, and if you have questions on those items, please ask. I have my large Excel sheet in front of me. It shows what each department, for example, building wants computer monitors totaling $1,000, computer towers totaling $4,000 in 2027. Fire wants life pack, $60,000. Police is actually more unique than everybody else because as you go through this every year, you're going to see police asking for the same thing because historically you've purchased patrol cruisers, 2 per year, every year. So that's a continuing expense for them and it is considered an asset. Service, and then the blank Motorola is also going to be falling under police, but that is the grant that they are projecting to use. On the bottom left, you're going to see a key. So general fund is 101, SCNML fund is 202, police and fire capital fund is 207. The one item missing from the 2027 asset is I recently got a request from the fire chief. He's going to be needing a system for the ambulance. It's called cop and load system for their new ambulance coming in. It's going to total about 65,000, 67, and he asked if we could purchase it this year. I said no, the budget's already going to be in a tough situation because we're going to be doing the 27th pay period. We lost $100,000 in those internet cafes. We just went to a costly union organization. So I said, wait till 2027 and then we'll go over it. They're asking for another 60+ thousand for this load and caulk system from the fire department. In the 2027, underneath the bar chart, you're going to see the costs next to 101, the $574,000 is the cost for the year coming out of the general fund, the fund balance, and then the remaining amount. And keep in mind, these are projections. Things will change, so you have to leave a cushion no matter what we do.
Wait, interrupt real quick here, or not here, because you were talking about the police cars. So the police cars they were getting this year, they actually got delayed because we were supposed to order 2 come off the book. One comes out, one came off the books.
Yes.
And another one comes off on September 1st, I believe. So we were going to get 2 this year. That I think got pushed back at least a month or 2 because of
So the one
manufacturing. Yeah. So I was at because I'm at the narcotics, the county narcotics. The detective who runs narcotics said they were able to use opioid money for a car. I said, and it's funny because me and one of the Willowick police chief looked at each other at the same time. How'd you get that through? So they got through. The law director got through. So I talked to Mandy, talked to Rob. It appears that Mandy's gonna write up an opinion, but we are gonna be able to at least buy one of those cars this year with opioid money. It's very stringent on what you can use, but more and more municipalities are getting creative as long as their law director approves it. So we will be able to buy one, which is good news, because we got 92,000 in that account. You know, we bought some equipment last year, I think, out of it. We also were able to get some software out of it, which I was, again, learned through the narcotics agency and what they were able to do. We were able to start finding out and looking into see if we could apply it to us, and we have been able to, so. Because that money just it just sits there, and we got more money coming in every year, so that's at least good news for this year on that. And we got another settlement coming next year, so. Whether we can use two, I'm not sure, but one for sure, because that car will be dedicated to going when they go to DARE, they go to the schools. As long as we're using it, that car is dedicated to do something with drug education, we're fine. That's the way it is. So we're gonna put a policy in place once Mandy gets the opinion, and then you wanted something for the auditors.
So when I told Mandy I need an email stating that we can purchase this vehicle using this money for this reason, that way when we get audited, we're clear. So once I get that, we can use the opioid money to buy that. And then historically, we've always taken a loan out to purchase these two. Well, the last time we took a loan, I think the rate was at 3%, I want to say. And this time, 3% was the interest rate. In April 2026, I got a quote for 5%, and the treasury yield just went up yesterday, last night, this morning. That's gonna move us closer to 6%. I would recommend just biting the bullet this time and taking it out of the general instead of taking on long-term debt, because it's gonna cost us more money than if we just take it out now. Because currently, savings account is at 3.89. And if we're taking out loans at 6%, you're kind of at a loss there.
What are we getting back then in the investments?
So,
3.89 is what we're getting our Star Ohio. Okay, so that's 3.8, and we're getting, so because typically I would think we're getting higher on Star Ohio, take out the loan and make a difference, because your cash is going to be more. But in this case, you're saying the cash one, we wouldn't be making more on the interest.
no.
Question, the opiate, what's an average that we get yearly? Just rough,
It's been growing. We started getting it probably, I might have been still in council when we get money started coming in. It varies, sometimes anywhere from 5,000 to 15,000, but it's different settlement, a class action that we were involved in. I think I got something earlier in the year that there's another lawsuit about to settle. We should be getting some more money at the end of this year or next year, but that was under $5,000.
so how do they determine the amount and how are we getting this
I
money?
have no idea.
It's just from lawsuits or?
Yeah, everyone, and then they break, I don't know if there's a formula, there must be some kind of formula, or how your city was involved and how much money you're getting, I really don't know.
And is it from drug busts and all that, like within the city?
No, it's from all the companies, from the drug company, from like CVS, Rite Aid, those, that's why Rite Aid closed down. A lot of the reason they went bankrupt is because they got hit with that big lawsuit. I don't know how, I really do not know. I can find out if you'd like.
Well, no, I'm just curious.
Yeah, no, I don't know how they,
Like,
I think.
Willowick, you had, I don't know, 15
Yeah, no,
drug
yeah,
busts,
right.
but Menor had 30. So Menor gets more because they had 30
From the
versus the
emails
15?
I've read, it's from the lawsuit, the massive lawsuits that happened during
Yeah,
the.
but we don't know how.
Yeah, but
I don't
I
know
don't
how
think
they
like,
Yeah, I'm not
how we
sure.
get more than
It's
them or-
prescription drugs, not drug busts.
Right, yeah,
It's
right.
lawsuits and all
I
of
know,
what are
but
prescribed.
how do they figure out what city
That's a great
percentages
question.
city gets?
Well, the next time we get one of those,
Yeah,
let's see
we'll
if
take a
we
look
can
at it.
look into it, because now that you mentioned, I kind of like to know, yeah.
Mike, you mentioned that you used some of the money to buy equipment. Did that have to be drug related too?
It was actually software. I used the wrong term. Thank you for pointing that out. It was last year we were able to, in the budget for police software, we used money for.
Okay.
So and again, that was something I was learned from my time being on the narcotics, or still on the narcotics, the county. I'm just start thinking about this. I go, maybe we can start applying some of this to us. So I had Mandy look into it, and yeah, we were able, anything that's, I think the government's getting a little more leeway with this because everyone's got this money building up and it's just sitting there, it's not doing anybody any good if you can't spend it.
So, but the car we buy, can a police officer use as a regular daily
Yep.
cruiser along with taking it to DARE and all the others?
Yeah, as long as that car is specified to be used when we go to DARE, when we go to the schools and do
Right.
DARE things, as long as it's used for
It's
that,
just like
all
our
the time it's
dump
used.
truck from the sewer revenue fund.
Kind of similar to that,
It
right?
belongs to
Yeah.
the
It's
sewer
sewer.
department, it's done for the sewer work, but they also use it to plow the roads.
Yeah, that's a good analogy. Yeah, I was surprised when he said that. I'm going, like, it's, a couple of the chiefs were too. They're going, holy crap, let's see if we can drag it. So,
So that's 2027. Does anybody have any questions about the assets that are being requested to purchase, or should we just keep going through it?
Let's just go through it, I
Just go
think.
through it, okay. So 2028 building is asking for a Explorer, $42,000 Ford Explorer. Fire's asking for a life pack, and then another Stryker cot and load system for $225,000.
They wanna replace their 2013 car,
I-
building department?
I can double check, but I'm pretty sure that's what that.
They have an Explorer now, so they wanna replace it.
So
with
it's,
something.
they're categorizing it under equipment. Yeah, it's just equipment. I think they're trying to replace the system within their old ambulance.
Oh, I'm talking about building, sorry.
Oh, building, oh, I'm so sorry. The Explorer, let's see where that is.
They don't necessarily wanna buy an Explorer, they just wanna replace the Explorer that they have with something.
Yes, so the original one they got was from the police department. They got it in, what do you think when they got it? But it's 13 years old. They received it in 2013. It was originally from the police department. The new replacement would be 42,000. Russ says this could go to 2028.
We have it in 2028.
You have it
That's
twice.
right.
So they wanted it in 2027?
Yes, the original.
Russ is
one.
saying they can wait.
Gordon,
Yes,
can you
sir.
explain the Stryker cot and load system again?
The Stryker cot load system, and I'm not a fireman, and I'm not gonna tell you that I really know what all this is about.
Just a lot of money, I just wanna know what it is.
It's, so,
We
so
can ask Bill.
Yeah.
the new email, the back and forths that I have, it's some kind of system that they use in the ambulance. And the current system that we have is out of date.
Hmm.
So they want to put it not only in our new ambulance in 2027, they want to replace the old ambulance system with this purchase.
So the new ambulance that we haven't gotten yet, the system is out of date.
No, this isn't for the new system.
No, that's what they want 65,000 for. This 225 is to go in the old
I believe
ambulance.
so, yes.
And the 65 is the life pack of the new ambulance.
That's what it is.
The other system that he mentioned isn't actually in here yet.
Yeah.
It was added after the fact.
Yes,
So
so
the
yeah.
225 doesn't include the system that, so 225.
This is only to retrofit the old
Okay.
ambulance.
Not the new.
Not
They
the
need
new.
another 65 on top of this for the new one.
Let me just-
But again, this is just to ask, this is not.
Yeah, but I don't understand how a new ambulance has an antiquated system.
I think
It doesn't have a system at all.
It doesn't have a system, you gotta equip it with a system.
Why did we do that already when we ordered it?
You're looking
We
at,
need to talk to Bill
I'm not sure. I'm
and
not
understand.
sure how that works.
There's this,
Me and the chief were, I mean, he was asking me, and I told him that's not in the budget for 2026, we'd have to leave.
But this is, wait, that's the 65,000, we talked about the $65,000 one? Yeah, I have questions on that too, but we haven't talked about it yet because he hasn't come to me about it yet, so we're gonna revisit that at budget season.
Yeah.
We're gonna go into that more, but yeah, I think, yeah, just.
I mean, this is just a high-level 5-year projection.
Yeah, right, yeah, so we will go into more of that in the budget, because I'm still learning that, I'm getting up to speed on that $65,000 one. The 225, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, is for the old, our existing ambulance.
Okay.
And you're gonna have to ask the
Of course,
technicals.
yeah. No,
Yeah.
and I appreciate you gathering all this for the
Yeah.
5-year, but.
Moving forward, police, as you can tell, they really haven't changed anything much from 2026. Recreation is the big change, and this is for what Julie has already talked about. We've already started saving money for this, but in that fund, it's not gonna be enough, that 214, and we're gonna have to either find grants, or we have to pull from the general fund if we decide to move forward and replace all these things.
We're on that 3-year plan like we did with the parking lot,
Yeah.
so, but I also, me and Julie talked actually this morning, or this afternoon, I'm sorry. I'm gonna be a little more aggressive going for a federal grant than I was, because we had a lot of grants out there, and it was all kind of centered around that, so now, the parking lot, now that we're good there, I'm gonna be really aggressive in trying to get, the recreation grants, because I know they give them out for the recreational facilities, so I'm gonna be a little more aggressive at the federal level than I was. That we can go again for next year, and then in 2 years, we can go back to the state, because they alternate, they go, this year was capital, next year be operational, then in 28 it'll be capital again, so. But we are, at the same time, we realized we can't ignore the problem, so we wanted to start putting money where kind of like we all did, the plan we used for the parking lot, so. But we also kind of need a playground in there somewhere
Yeah, we
too.
do.
So,
What's the tax income on the recreation?
75,000 a year close. So we're going for renewal on that one.
yeah, that's up for renewal, which I'm gonna start, I was gonna bring it up at the next council meeting, which is September 1st, which is a little too early to get it out, but we'll get it out there, I'll have a town hall if we get to again. It's ridiculously low, but it takes in $5 per 100,000, so.
I don't think residents would have a problem renewing recreation. It's all the other ones that,
Right, yeah, but you still don't wanna take a chance.
Right, oh, yeah,
You don't
definitely.
wanna go in,
Correct,
go
definitely.
overconfident on that, cause
no.
yeah,
But I'm
definitely
just
don't wanna-
saying, it just seems like, all the kids in the rec,
Yep,
Okay, moving to 2029. As you can tell, building threw in computer monitors, computer towers, and printers again. That's just.
we'll have a little more, cause there's legislation on that will kinda hope
Yeah,
will enable us to go get grants. This is one of the moves that we're asking in the legislation tonight, which we'll get into it at the council meeting, but we are gonna, the plan is to hopefully get the opportunity to look for some grants for the stuff that we currently are not available.
yes. With our
Is that right?
yeah. With the new .gov, we should be able to request more federal grants, apply for more federal grants, because that's one of the stipulations. I put in $1,000. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna need that printer I was telling you about over that prints our checks. How much it's gonna be, I don't know. This is just a guess for 2029. We do have new laptops and things, and I don't expect that to go bad in the next 5 years, so we're okay. Fire needs a life pack. Police stays the same. Recreation is requesting a pool, umbrella. And then service wants to come out of.
Their umbrellas around the pool area. And it's probably the one that's over by the kiddie pool.
oh, the big one, yeah.
why is for police, the Motorola annual service
In this.
not included in 2027?
Oh. Well, 28, 27. Let's see if they pay in advance or not. So, should have been 26.
Yeah, actually, you know, I just realized, when we get to that legislation like that, those numbers are gonna change.
Yeah.
Because that's another item that's on the legislation that, between myself and Chief Domino, I will be able to explain why that's on the agenda tonight. But yeah, I just realized that number's gonna change.
Yeah, I just noticed that, Monica. Thanks for pointing that out. I'll have to put it in here.
Wait, and it's not in what year?
27.
27?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe, well, actually, you won't have to put it in there if that legislation passes tonight. And 28 to come out. 'Cause we get 2 years
Oh,
from.
yeah.
But that, we'll get into that with the I don't wanna confuse issues, but it'll be more explainable, but those numbers, 27 and 28 would probably come out. Well, 27's out, and then 29 is just gonna change, but that'll come out. We'll go over that, because that's legislation that's up for vote tonight for you guys, so. And I'm sure that's probably one of the things you guys got questions on, I'm sure, anyway.
So, 27, 28, 29.
But yeah, those 2 years kind of changed, I think, those numbers a little bit. Not drastically, but.
Yeah. Okay, let's move forward to 2030. Service, basically the same service, wants a street sweeper.
Fire doesn't want anything.
No, not for 2030 at least, but I'm sure things change and break and, we should be.
We don't need life pack anymore?
I was just gonna ask about that as well.
I'm
It's
not being funny.
No, it's an every other year, all of a sudden, it's like, we don't need it.
I mean, it's something you renew every year, just like this Motorola, right? I mean, that was
Yeah.
how I noticed that Motorola wasn't in 27.
Yeah, it's not in 2030, or 2031.
I assume that's oversight on their part.
And then moving to 2031, Marijuana's in there. Infield, ProTag, Recreation, and Service one's light truck. So as you can tell, the assets dwindle down the further out we go, because we're not sure what we're really gonna need.
I was gonna say it dwindles down because they're not really putting anything on their list. And when we asked them to do a 5-year projection, I don't see a 5-year projection from every department. And I'm not saying anything to you, Gordon, I'm just saying, either they're gonna put it in a 5-year projection so that we can plan, or if it's not there, we don't plan it. My opinion. Because how can we put the money away or decide what is needed and what is just a want if it's not in their 5-year projection?
I think the first 2 years are front-loaded by every department. I think that's gonna be more of a need, and that's what we're gonna have to spread out over 5 years. I think that's kind of the way we should look at it.
I get that, but as we saw, fire doesn't have anything in several of the years, and it's like, we know
They're gonna have some.
that they're gonna have something. Services put a couple here or there, but by past asks.
Yeah.
So either they're gonna take this seriously and do it, or at budget time, we're just gonna say it's on your 5-year plan, sorry. We didn't plan for it, my opinion.
How many years that we get a new ambulance?
Oh, when did you get the last one?
We
Well, we
just
just
got
got
it.
it, but we
No.
have two, but
No,
I'm
the
just.
one before.
The one
is-
prior.
Is that during COVID?
That's what we ordered during
Or
COVID.
prior to COVID?
We ordered, the one we're getting in October, we ordered in 23 or 24, I want to say. Probably 23, because we had to have that money
The money
appropriated,
allocated.
yeah, so by the end of 24. So it was either late 23 or early 24, I think we ordered it. The other ambulance, I want to say is 2020, but it's just a guess. I don't think it's,
If this helps with that question, the fire truck, the engine was bought in 2026. Bill has it needing replaced in 2032. That's a 1.5 million replacement.
But he's got no ambulance for 30 or 31.
No, not that I can see.
I think that might be right, because I'm trying to remember, he gave me, I think he might not need, I think the next big truck purchase in fire might not be till 2032. I believe that's correct.
You know,
I mean, they don't even, he doesn't
So-
even have
I mean, stuff
like
that they,
hoses, coats, no
Stuff-
supplies.
you know,
no
stuff that they
nothing.
ask for
Oh,
from
I
their
mean,
budget.
Yeah, but I don't know if that, were you looking for, is that what you guys were
No
looking for?
car.
Well, I'm looking for a full, okay, I'm the head of
Yeah.
X department, for the next 5 years, my plan is to do X, Y, Z. Now, I know you're gonna leave some stuff off because you don't know,
Mhm.
but there are things that you ask for every year. I don't see any of that is on here. If you're gonna do a 5-year plan, I have to do a 5-year plan for work. I have to put exactly what my team needs today, right? That I'm looking at 5 years. I may not know a few things, but I'm gonna know exactly the software, the hardware, their overtime, whatever, that I need to put in my plan. This is like,
Same thing with building and service.
yeah, well, that's what I'm saying, across the board, there's no detail of things that we know, that we've seen, I've seen. They're not on here. To me, this is sort of a wish list, and I'm not gonna do a 5-year plan, it's my wish.
I did,
I'm not, how
you know,
are
I
you?
did email them up a couple of times trying to get this from them as well. I wasn't expecting
Well,
to give me a very detailed list either, but, you know, I put together what they provided.
oh no, I agree that this, you didn't leave anything off. I'm just saying, they're gonna come to us in February with their budget. If it's not here, I'm saying no.
Are you saying that you want a full budget, but 5 years in a row, done all at once?
No.
No, what I'm saying is, I wanna know what your 5-year plan is from what
Expenses.
you need and what you expect from an expense perspective. So, I understand you may not know software that may be coming due, right, that is going end of service. I get that, but this is,
I'm
I-
sure they went by anything that's out of the ordinary. Like you mentioned hoses and gear for the
Yeah.
fire department. Well, that's a known thing. They don't need to put that in.
well, they need to put that in their 5-year plan, because my thing is, this plan is what I asked for, and I know that they've done it in the past. It may not be these same department heads, but we've gotten it in the past, prior to me getting on council, but I've seen it, and it was so detailed that it was like, okay, great, that's what I wanna see, so.
When do you think that was?
When did I think it was? Oh, Julie told me it was when she first, probably 5 years into her being in her position.
Yeah, but it was.
So
after
like
that
20
too.
years ago.
No, yeah,
Maybe
they had it.
15-ish.
No, because Cheryl showed it to me, like how they
Yeah.
did the 5-year plan and everything, and it dropped off somewhere in the last 15 years or so.
Yeah, so I mean, I know that it's been done,
Mhm.
and that way then, when we're looking at the budget, we can look back at the plan and say, okay, yeah, I understand you didn't know this software's coming end of service, or that device, that computer is gonna, end of service life, whatever, I get that. But if you're asking for, you're gonna come to budget and say, well, I know I didn't put it in my 5-year plan, but I need 2 dump trucks, or I need, a 2 more Explorers, whatever. If it's not here, we can't budget for it.
Well, I think dump trucks and explorers are here, I think they
Well,
did put in all
but-
the
She
big
just threw that
things.
in.
I just threw that out there.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I'm sure that there's larger purchases that.
I mean,
would
I
be-
think that the service department did put
I'm not calling out the service.
substantial things in here, same with recreation.
Here's the
Police,
thing,
for the
right?
most part, doesn't change very often, and building doesn't need much. You know, they put in their car, like you said, like they're gonna want a car.
Is there like a dollar threshold, you want anything above that?
I don't know what they need, right? I'm
I'm
not,
just confused about what you're asking for that this doesn't accomplish, that wouldn't be what I said, that was like a full budget.
and if the majority is good with this, and this is what we're gonna budget for, and we're not gonna budget for anything else for these departments, when that budget comes before us, we should be able to go back to this and say, well, you didn't ask for X.
Unless something comes up as an emergency.
Yes.
The other thing, to go along with that, just what happens if, let's just say, a resident passes away and decides to give us
$1
money?
million.
And all of a sudden, we have extra money. And then we can go back and say, okay, well, this department, you know, hey, rec center wanted this in 28, but we can buy it now because we have the funds or whatever. We don't know, like she said, this, we need to know exactly
Still like- I
what
think
they
it's like-
want so that we have, in case that, we have extra funds or something, we can move things. But we can't budget.
I mean, I get where both of you are coming from, and where do we find the middle? Because I do agree that there's good things in here.
Right.
Oh.
But I do also agree that
It's a lake.
there's nothing on, I find it hard to believe that fire wants nothing.
Right.
Yes. I
Other
find
than
that-
renewal of their normal
Yeah,
things.
and I mean, I just find it hard to believe that
Fire
it's
We
just
all know
looks
that's
like-
not true.
Sorry to interrupt you, but fire did give me projections all the way up till 2055. I mean, granted, it's
Those are the trucks.
the big trucks and these.
So they don't need anything in 30 and 31.
Yeah.
That 2032 is the next, which would be the next big.
So they don't need any.
Oh, no, I'm talking truck wise.
Right,
Oh, yeah, I mean-
right.
Now, except chief wants a new truck, but, right.
So-
It's
That's
not
not in
there.
here.
And,
Well,
because
but
it's
that-
really
that's
bad
a-
needed.
that's a
That would have
wish
been a wish list.
From, that's
But,
what I was
I
just
mean, I
gonna
think
say,
this should be
from
not
the
only-
director's point
You
of view,
definitely
they're
should
probably
use this as a
trying to be
template. I agree with you.
realistic.
We should even see their wish list on here, because it may come up, as Nellie said, we may come into a little bit of money and we can say, you know what? We can purchase 3 trucks today. I'm just saying, like, the trucks that the
From my
guys
point
drive.
of view, and I think probably theirs, a wish list plan is different than your basic 5-year asset projection.
No,
That may be a misunderstanding between
Yeah.
me, you, and them, so we can ask for that wish list
I-
version too.
it should be in there projected, and if it
Well,
becomes a wish
no,
list.
I think the point Devin's trying to make is, they're trying to be realistic.
And I like that they're being realistic,
Versus,
but are they really realistic?
Am I gonna ask for everything? Because then if they come in here and they say, I want this and this and this and this and this,
Well,
are we
that's
gonna
what
say,
I-
oh, well, you're just asking for too much?
That's why I'm surprised the
bother?
fire department hasn't come in with everything.
But again, they could ask for whatever, but then when we see their budget,
I do think that what you want is not what they thought you wanted. And
Yeah, the next.
well, if I asked you for a
know.
5-year projected,
That's right, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. So I think-
projection is different from wish list.
So,
it is, I'm just saying, they could put what they are looking to get, which could be quote unquote a wish, but
I
and we
think,
can't budget.
I think we would have to ask them again.
Yeah, I
to
think
be
with this
more
feedback,
detailed, or
what
like
you're
Devin
getting on
mentioned,
it.
is there like a dollar threshold? You know, and I do believe that a lot of the things that we know they're gonna need or want are things that they need and want every year, so they didn't include it in this. That's
So-
just their normal expected. I think it's just a difference of expectations.
So one thing I would like to add into this, and it's gonna take more time, which I'd be interested in seeing, is just the assessments of our existing city assets. So we have Manry Park, obviously in here, the basketball courts, but also just like looking at new roofs, new HVAC, things like that that we know are come off senior center improvements. Kind of look at some, I think the assets we talk about here are, yes, we need the vehicles, certain equipment, but I'm more curious about too, seeing some of the actual physical buildings. And this could be, this is more, it's gonna be more comprehensive.
This will be more Todd, because Todd will know, you'll have to reevaluate every building, go through and decide with Tim what.
And I think what we have done in the past is CT can do that, do an assessment of it. I know it's gonna cost money.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that, but getting an assessment of conditions, you know, because there are two things in here that I didn't see that have had come up. Not saying I would support them, but something we need to look at. What about a new fire station? What about city hall improvements that we've discussed? Where I view a projection, it is both a projection and a wish list in my experience, because we're not saying yes to everything in here. This is just knowing, hey, these are certain things that we might have coming down. And maybe it's we're saying, hey, we're not gonna do that. But, you know, for example, we talked about getting a sound system in here, or things like that. It helps us make those decisions, and when we get a resident saying, hey, why don't you have microphones in here? We can say, hey, we did a little something, it's $200,000. You know, we said we just didn't want to do that because we wanted to pay for basketball courts, right? Then we felt that was a better use of that. So I think for me, looking at this, I think it's a good start. I think, yeah, I agree, it could be more fleshed out, and I think that's the purpose of this. It's a 5-year budget is a living, breathing document. You review it every year and things like that. But I'd be curious to see some more of the physical assets, you know, that we pay for. Someone mentioned a playground. You know, I view that as something saying, hey, you want to do a playground, you know, you never know if a grant comes up and we say, hey, let's look at, we wanted to do this in 29, but in 26 we have a grant, so let's pull that from 20, you know, things like that. I think it just helps us kind of realize that. Go ahead.
I did have Russ sit with me and go through all of these vehicles and equipment, because he has a way better understanding than I do. And he did recommend changes to some of these things that he pushed back further. And I made those changes and they're reflected in here.
Sure.
So we did have Russ look at it as well.
Yeah. Before
I got it to you, because this is as good of a mechanic as I used to do. It's not there anymore. But if you're talking about physical assets and you're talking about opportunities that you might have if we get $100 million, I would say that I would have to sit with Todd to see where he thinks we're gonna need replacements in our buildings. When it comes to adding playgrounds and things to parks, you kinda gotta give me borders of how far you wanna go to look at things. You know, I don't wanna come back and not grab everything you wanted.
Sure.
So I would need more guidance as to what exactly you want
Yeah, I think
us to look at. And the other side to it is CD Consulting, we could use them to do a whole nother plan, because they did one, I don't know how many years ago. But that costs us a lot.
Yeah.
it will.
2017, I think it was, wasn't it? CT?
But I think, to your point, like you mentioned roofs, so
Yeah.
like, I know next year, we talked about it, we pushed it off to next year, is the roof at the senior center. It's
Correct.
not in here, but I'm thinking, and I don't wanna put words in, or thoughts in anyone, but I'm thinking Todd was, when he was looking at assets, he was looking at his equipment. He wasn't-
Correct. I'm not saying.
Yeah, but, so like, but you made some good points about we're gonna need a roof, I think, I don't know if it's Teresa or Natalie or Pat, you're right, because the roof is not in here, but the roof for the senior center is, we pushed that to next year.
So I think that from a city as a whole, right?
Yeah, yeah.
To Patrick's point, right, it's not just the equipment necessarily, but, I mean, I think the equipment's a little light as well from different departments' perspective, but it's all of the assets within the city, so the buildings, the parks, the pools, the streets, you know, the sewers, whatever, it's things we need to plan money for, so that we know in 2029, we have to redo Dudley Pool, and I'm just pulling that out, right?
Yeah.
That it needs, you know, I know, I'm just saying, cause it's closed. Schools are closed, but in 2029, we may have to redo a pool. That's not cheap, but
it's something to plan for.
Yes.
And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, of what Councilwoman Bisbee might be talking about is perhaps looking at, you take our budget and you say, okay, in 27, when you budget out 5 years, you're assuming certain, salary increases, certain amount of this, and having that comprehensive overview of it. Doesn't have to be perfect, but obviously you budget more. So like we know over the next 3 years what a certain amount of union rates are gonna be. So seeing that, we know how much fuel's gonna cost, you know how much other equipment is gonna be. I know it's gonna be a lot more comprehensive. I think that's what you're kind of alluding to. We have a wish list of that, but also just looking at, okay, here's kind of what we've done. Because I actually disagree with a lot of things in here of, like the Motorola annual service. That's not a capital budget. We gotta do that every year no matter what. Take that out of capital, in my mind. That's, hey, same with, recording software annual service in the police department. And it sounds like we have to get a life pack every year too. That's not a capital expense to me. That's, hey, we gotta do that no matter what. Which I understand 65,000 is a lot of money every year. Put into it, but we need to do it, we need to do it. I think just kind of reword. I think it's a good start. And I think we've hit a lot of things that I wasn't aware of that we need to do. But like we said, we're not gonna just say, okay, this is the document. It just allows us to get a better idea of what is coming down the pike, how can we be more frugal? So if we're saying yes or no to things, we can point to what we're saving for, if that makes sense. We point to we can set, as council, set what our priorities for that year in 29 is gonna be. They can say, hey, we wanna do X, Y, and Z, but no to X, Y, and Z. You can't say no to annual service contracts. But we can't say no, perhaps, to a patrol cruiser because we have them. That makes sense. You can't. It just, that's the way I view it as that. So it sounds like perhaps this is a good start, but we need, if we can meet with department heads, flesh out things a little bit more and get a little more the nitty gritty, and come back to us and say, okay, here's some more items that they talked about. At least for me, I would like to see the real estate assets that we're talking about. The physical assets of what's they need to replace, because we need to replace the roof of the senior center. We need to do things like that.
Yeah, we need new, sidewalks across both parks. If you look at the parks, we need, different things within the city that's not necessarily here, but it's a quote unquote asset for the city. It just happens to be more of a real estate side of it.
Well, also too, is that if they do away with property tax, now that's a whole other ball of wax that we're gonna really need to know.
Nitty gritty of
Yes. And what we have to
what we have to tighten our belts for.
Yeah, I just think kind of maybe some miscommunication on our end, but also I think it's a good start. And it's a good idea. I mean, I look at it as the issue is, you look at slide 7, it's most of those funds of 101, 202, 207, 214 are all pretty depleted. So the argument is we can't do everything on here, but it's getting us to know, hey, here's what we're talking about here, of downstream, what we'll need to do, and be a little bit more nimble.
No, yeah, I will sit down with Todd and kind of walk over the physical assets and see what he can put together cost-wise and where he thinks repairs need.
Yeah.
And then I think since we're getting closer to budget, I think it's gonna be better to wait to meet with each director regarding this. We could do it all at the same time.
Correct.
We do their budgets and kind of talk about what they see they're gonna need over the next 5 years. And we could put that together.
Need/want.
So,
Need/want.
well, that's not for,
Well-
they're gonna say they need everything.
Which is fine. I think I would rather see.
I'd rather have everything splashed on the page and then we can just go, yes, this is actually a priority because it's a safety, it's, a day-to-day need, but it's maybe something
Kind
that
of what
could
we do,
wait.
we meet with the directors, because they come to us with everything before we present it to you guys.
Yeah.
And
then you
we
guys go through it.
slash, like this, like, for example, the fence, Todd's had the fence on for a long time. Like, every year I've been mayor, and I think it's even before that.
They did a portion of it.
Yeah, right, yeah, so.
I get that guy calling me once a year. But I think also, like, we don't have next gen 911 upgrades on here. We know that's coming. We should know if we're not gonna go, whether we go with the county or not, or whomever, we should know what we're gonna be on the hook for. Like,
We'll
what-
know that about an hour.
What's I'm saying, but that should, that to me, like, okay, what's our annual?
Yeah, that kind of complicates things, but yeah, but you make a good point.
Like, there's certain things that we know are coming down, you
Right.
know, that we're gonna have to do. I think we're all kind of curious about that. Not saying we need to know how much a new fire station's gonna be, but
But what upgrades, it remains here, what upgrades are needed to?
we knew the ADA stuff, we did this year, and the restrooms, and,
The roof,
awning,
the roof was,
Is that insurance money covered the roof, or most of it?
We're still, that's on the agenda tonight too. We've been waiting for months to hit the second half on our insurance. And that's why we're
Advancing it.
moving it along to get somebody that's gonna step up and get it for us.
So,
But yeah,
That was all paid for,
everything,
wasn't it?
what, 20%? Right?
I thought,
Yeah.
It's not bad.
very little came out from the general fund to pay that, very little.
Mhm.
so I just, like, things like that, you know, we should just evaluate.
I understand, and then we'll put all this together for you. I'll probably get it to you in, next year after the budget hearings, if that's all right, because,
I think that's, I think that's fine as long as it's just, because I think we're just more comprehensive, well thought out. And I think if it's gonna be with the directors doing their budget, is have them, hey, like, you can blame us, say, hey, we did this once.
of course.
They didn't, council wants a more comprehensive thing. You guys gotta sit down and think about this, otherwise I'm gonna get yelled at. I mean, trust me, I get it. So, I think that's where you can lean on and say, hey, if you think about this, get it in now, because otherwise, they're gonna say no. To if you come to them for something in year two going, well, I needed more, the oxygen tanks we need to change out this year, which we knew they have to cycle out every 5 years, but we didn't put them in. And we're gonna go, where was that? So, I think that's kind of how we tell directors, and how we can look at what this looks like next year, and we make more discussions about it and have a better idea of it. Does that make sense? Is that what
Yes.
everyone is kind of looking for?
All right. Well, if we're done with that one, I will move on to the next item on the agenda.
Carl, can I just one more comment? I just want to thank Mike for saying aggressively you're going to pursue grants for the gym floor, because that's the first time we've seen the number in black and white, $400,000, and that's a huge number. Because if it has to wait another year, it'd probably be another 20% more than that. Yeah, so, and then I hate to see a $500,000 number, but I just appreciate that and finally getting to see that, because obviously I get asked hundreds of times a year, and I'm sure Teresa gets just almost as much. When is the gym floor coming? So.
Now, that seems to be the next big thing, I think, at least in my mind, that we need to do, that I'd like to get done, because the culvert was number one. No one notices it, it's not sexy, but it's probably the most important thing we've done, because how vital it is to get that done to for every resident in the city. So, and we got a big chunk of money for that from OPWC for that. So that was in play with the parking lot. That's kind of where it was set, going, gearing towards everything and trying to get as much money as I can. And we got the 200,000, and then potentially could get more, which there's a resolution to apply for another one. So, so right now, the next big thing really is Mandarin.
Great.
So, and that's gonna need it. I've done, we did apply federally, but I wasn't pushing as much because I was looking at other stuff, and you can only get so much. But they do give money to recreation community centers. I was doing the research on that, so it's just to me a matter of lobbying a little more, and kind of pushing to let them know how much we need it. And I know Julie wrote a really good letter that we have when we filed for the grant this past year, so I feel we should really get something for that in the next year or two, I really do. But, that seems to be the next number one project right now.
Good.
In my
Thank
mind,
you.
at least, like, knock on wood, because you never know what's gonna happen with stuff that pops up. I mean, we've done a lot. Every main road, 305 is gonna be done, Vine Street's done, Lake Shore, now, the Lake Shore Boulevard, that's coming down, but that's coming down 29, 2030 with the Lake Shore Boulevard, to East Lake border from Vine Street to East Lake, so that's a whole other thing, but, even the Vine Street corridor, we're in really good shape there, I think, to get that done with the grants that we've got extra money. And what we did with the street lighting fund, so I think we're in good shape there. So really, with a lot of the infrastructure projects, the big sewer projects we've done, I think it's time the next big thing would be to concentrate over at Manry, the recreation. So,
But, thank you.
Alrighty, moving on to the watering program. So council has asked to put together information regarding the watering program. I use the city of Willowick as a template because they already have one in place. If you turn to page 3 of the other attached packet, you'll see kind of what Wycliffe's watering program looks like. Now, the program could, and it's in bold on that first line, save the residents money. It is based off what consumption is in the wintertime versus what the consumption is in summertime. And then it's reevaluated and adjusted for that amount. So it could save money, not guaranteed. So there's a $20 application fee. Wycliffe requires its residents to pay to join this program. That's one of the things you need to decide. From what I've gathered, Willoughby Hills data in 2025 gave its residents a total of $2,063 in discounts on this watering bill program.
For the whole city or per resident?
The whole city. So it's not
huge,
huge, but it helps.
but people are seeing, in my opinion, because I've gotten actually several emails about this. I'm sure others have as well. Just asking, hey, I know that Wycliffe does this, is Willowick looking to do something similar? And I just said, hey, perfect timing, we're gonna be talking about it. We'll go from there.
So anybody, as long as they're an owner occupied, can apply for this.
So that's what you're gonna decide today.
That's just
You don't have to
for-
decide today.
But no, I'm just saying that's,
That's Wycliffe's, but if
but I
we
mean, they have no
decide-
stipulations at all, other than owner occupied in 1 year, living full in the year. Only not operating.
You mean
1
no
year.
like age, no income requirements?
No, and no proof, like, okay, you say you water your lawn, or you have a garden, or pool, whatever.
You're just taking
No
that.
proof, you're just
no.
taking their word for it.
Yes.
So they don't even have to give you a reason, they just fill this out, $20, and Wycliffe gives them a.
So
Well, if they're using more water.
Yeah,
it's based on their sewer, so it's gonna be reflected on their sewer bill. So yes, Natalie, if they say, hey, I'm gonna join your program, but I could be filling up my pool instead of watering my garden, they would still get a discount. Nobody's gonna ask, they're not gonna ask.
And how did, moral claims, how does moral claims fall into this if they, I mean, they're getting a credit already and now they're claiming that they have
You could,
a water leak or something, I mean, that's gonna be a lot of figuring out on your part.
there is, but you could also point to the fact that, okay, well, here's, you're already getting this credit, we'll subtract the credit, and then we'll look at what you were actually previously consumed, and that's the additional amount we'll give you.
So it wouldn't be a double dip, it would be.
Calculate like you normally do, the 75%,
Minus-
deduct the credit that they've already
That
got.
they've gotten from this.
That makes sense.
So on my side, sorry, go ahead.
And one more. Well, what happens if somebody already has a second water meter just for their outside, but they still apply for this credit?
That's a good question. That's a question we can ask. They have a second water meter.
So Lake County, Lake County would be able to tell you,
A
they have
deduct
second.
meter, isn't that what
Yeah,
they
so
call
you're talking
it?
about this, are you talking about a deduct meter?
That, when you have two water meters, because you have one for your landscaping or whatever.
Yeah, that's a deduct meter, if I'm not
That's a
mistaken,
deduct,
yeah. I don't know how that would play into the program, that's a good
I,
question.
I would believe the county would know anyone who had a deduct meter.
Yeah,
I
'cause
know,
you
but-
do ask that
But you're
regularly.
gonna have to, if you ask them and they don't put it down, again, you're asking for the honesty of the resident.
Well, the deduct meter, I don't know a lot about it, so but I think that they have to go through the county to get that deduct meter, so
Yeah.
they're gonna know.
But I'm saying is though, is this checked with the county? I mean, is
Yes.
the county verifying
So
each
the
and
way-
every one of these forms?
So the way it works is we send, once we receive the application, do our check.
Okay.
We send it to the county and say, this resident would like to request to be part of this program. Then the county goes into their system and they actually have a code created specifically for this program for the other cities they would use for this instance.
Okay, hopefully.
So when they do that, when you're talking about the deduct meter, I don't think they include that at all. But I can verify.
Yeah, because I'm just saying, we're giving them a credit on their sewer, and they're already technically getting a credit on their sewer because they have the deduct meter.
That's fine. Any other questions?
I have more of a comment, not necessarily to you, but to the table writ large. The way Wycliffe's system's set up, it's only for owner occupied. We have a lot of long-term rentals here where people are renting it multiple years, re-upping their lease every year. I don't see why they wouldn't be able to take part in this program. I mean, in Wycliffe's case, because they specifically say it, but I think for our city, I think the 1 year, living here requirement is good enough. I don't think it needs to be distinguishing owner occupied.
So,
I agree, how do you verify that though?
that's where I was going, because they can't change the sewer bill from tenant to landlord, landlord to tenant.
Have them put on a copy of their lease or something, I don't know, it was just,
We're the Lake County billing issue.
It's a Lake County, it's not.
Yeah, it's not us,
That's
I
us,
think
yeah.
they would,
yeah, I mean,
But if we tell Lake County this qualifies, they do it, right?
Yeah.
So it's a matter of how do we verify, cause if somebody submits this application, how are you or whoever going to verify that it's owner occupied? You're gonna
We would
look up the
reach out
county
to
records or
CNN.
whatever.
You're gonna cross check it with
So
C.
how do we
Cross-check,
verify
see.
that they've lived there? I mean, I don't disagree with you,
yeah, I mean, I know that it adds another logistic hurdle. that
Well,
we
I
have
would
to-
say they would need to bring a sewer bill in and show us that they've been a resident for however many years you think, 2 years, a resident
Yeah.
based on their sewer bill.
Sewer bill, and if they're a rental, then their lease agreement.
Well, if they have a sewer bill, they're not gonna be a renter.
Oh, there's
Oh,
ways around
there are
that.
some
Mhm.
rentals that they actually make you put the water in your name when
Yeah.
you pay the bill.
I think the county didn't allow for name changes if it was an owner.
it's, it's the landlord would just charge, that's where you're getting at. The landlord just invoices
Yeah.
the renter.
They
I
can
do
do
think
that.
they used to.
Used to- yeah, I don't,
You know, like, yes, if I was renting from you, I could get the water bill in my name. Warren is saying they can't do that.
yeah,
Sewer or water.
I'm old, so, you know.
No,
Yeah,
you don't.
so they, yeah.
Oh, come on.
I guess my other question is, when we do it for residential, if we did it for commercial, would it be a huge issue? Or would it or would it change the program dramatically?
I would stick to strictly
Residential.
residential, I would not go commercial.
Why?
I
Because I
think-
guess I'm gonna sound like Dave Ferris here for a minute.
Yep.
Just hear me out. You know, Dave, and I agree with Dave, is we're always trying to get some of our properties in some of our blended areas to invest, to maybe do more streetscaping, be more walkable, and we can offer the credit to them as well. I was just curious why the reason not to do it. I'm open to hear, but I'm just thinking, why
So,
not offer
so
it?
one of the reasons I would say is because the county gives the credit on the sewer bill. The sewer bills are coded. To create those codes, they've created for residential. Now, it's created for business, it would take some effort,
Okay.
one. Two, they're gonna charge us for it. And the other thing I haven't mentioned about the program is that if you look through these emails that I've been going back and forth with the county, one of the things they do mention is, so far, we're not charging the cities to do this administratively.
Yeah.
So
And,
far.
and they could start charging us to do this like they charge us to collect.
That's fine, you answered my question, I'm really keeping it residential, I just thought I would ask since Dave isn't here, and I knew Dave would have that question, so.
So even if we do this, we end up getting a fee, like Lake County decides to fee us, then we're gonna have to figure out.
It's,
Would that $20
Whether the
still
application
cover?
fee is more.
Yeah, up the application.
Or if there's just no, if it's not worth it, if
Stop the program.
the whole city is saving $2,000, but it's costing the
Us
city
3 or 4.
$2,000 administratively, is it really worth it?
Yeah,
it's easier to start a program than stop a program.
Right.
yep.
I think for what it's worth, and we talk about expanding it, I'm okay with just keeping it as kind of what Wycliffe's done, residential owner occupancy, because we can always expand it. But to your point, if we overexpand it.
If you
then
start
it-
somewhere.
Yeah, if we overexpand it, all of a sudden we shrink it, it becomes an issue. I'd rather start small, sort of what we do with the homestead, we just expanded it to more, you know, I think when we can reevaluate this, like we do the homestead and then committee and say, okay, hey, can we expand it? What's that look like? So we're gonna be paying then, so hypothetically speaking, out of this, it's actually be coming out of our sewer revenue fund, correct? The increase is like, if we're
Percent
paying.
increases on sewer costs.
Correct, so,
Yes.
so that's how, it's gonna be paid out, let's say, so it saved residents $2,000, so we owe $2,000 that
So
it
you will
payments
pay that continuous, yeah.
out of, but that's coming out of the sewer revenue fund, correct? Okay.
And these $20, I would create an account on the revenue side for the sewer revenue fund and put it right back in there.
Okay, but I think to our point is, we can then evaluate that when we do sewer rates underneath the joint meetings we do. We always talk about the homestead, we can talk about this as well, of looking at that, and then kind of go from there.
The one thought on that though is that these $20 is a one-time fee, not a yearly fee.
And this is
So
just what
that
Wycliffe
administrative
charges.
from the county
Right.
would be a yearly thing, so, you know, if year one, that $20 fee covered whatever the county would charge us, that doesn't necessarily mean year two.
Well, yeah, but we can also, this is just Wycliffe's, I mean, we could charge
We
a
could change it.
$20 every year you have to apply,
Good,
because, all right,
That's more work administratively up here though.
I think we, again, that's something we can reevaluate. If the county ever comes back to charge us, we can say, okay, hey, how do we offset this?
Additional charge.
Yeah. Because a lot of people might just say, hey, if you're charging me $20 a year,
it's not worth it.
it's not worth it, depending on what their credit is, if they're not saving all that, which would then probably reduce our amount paid to the county, I would assume. If that came to that.
so the house sells halfway through the year.
So it
then
says,
the owner,
It's not a water bill changes.
They would have to wait a year.
so it's instantly, the county kicks it out. As soon as they receive, I forget what it is.
Transfer.
Yeah, transfer title ownership, they kick them out right away.
okay,
And then it's automatic, and then they have to come back and reapply us.
a year
A year
later,
later.
because they'll have a history of 1 year of water and sewer bills.
They can apply right away, but the county
They
won't
won't.
start.
Until,
Yeah,
It's not till they get a year's worth.
no.
A record, yeah, for a year.
So talking about the sewer revenue fund. In theory, the city isn't going to be paying any sewer treatment costs on these residents' behalf. Because the whole point of it is you're watering your grass, you're watering your garden, so it's not going into the sewer system, it's not being treated.
So are we not then?
So these residents are paying for that water to be treated, but in theory, it's not, because it's just going into the ground.
But is there gonna be, I guess my question, I thought then, in our billing, we saved them 2,000 annually, residents. Do we have to make up that cost?
Yes.
We do, like, we have.
So
In
if Patrick.
theory, no.
Well, in theory, no, but that's not how the meter reading works. So if Patrick's wastes 100 gallons, we have to treat 100 gallons like it went down the sewer, and we get billed for that.
But,
She's saying it's not going into the sewer, it's going into the
well,
water.
the county is billing the residents based on how much water is used. Euclid is billing us based on the flow to their plant. Those two aren't equal necessarily, right?
Technically, no.
But from a budgetary standpoint, purely, we have to cover that.
But see, that's where if I had Ann Turk, she had, I think she still has, a deduction meter and a regular meter. So when she ran her sprinklers,
She's not gonna pay the sewer
Willowick
charge.
never saw that water going into the sewer because it was a different meter. Well, here, we don't have that meter,
But we're still paying that.
we still have to pay it because how do they know, oh, well,
Correct.
did it really go in your lawn or did it really
Correct,
go?
and that's why we have to only do billing, so we still would owe, because they're on the meter, there's a meter side.
Correct.
Yeah.
We only have one, so that's where that difference would be.
Right.
Okay, that's what I just wanna make sure, but that's how we cover it, would be out of that revenue fund.
Yep.
Okay. I'm largely okay with trying this, mirroring what we had.
So how many years as a resident would you like somebody, so let's say I come to apply, how many years do I need to live here to be eligible to apply this program?
I would think 1 year,
I think a year.
so at least you have a history of your water and sewer.
I guess I don't care about them, you don't need to live here for any minimum in my mind, because you're not gonna get the discount until you live here for 1 year
But
anyway.
I think we need to let them know, right?
They have
that
to know that.
They're not gonna get it, so if I've lived here for 2 months
Correct.
and I filled this out, but I didn't know that I needed to live here a year before it kicks in.
I think that's fine, but I want you to put like, hey, if I move here in August, I can apply in September, I'm just not
Well,
gonna
this
get
you
it
have
until the
to,
fall.
this has to, by April 30th. They have a deadline of April 30th. And then it says here, I have resided in the home for at least 1 full year are eligible to register. So they're waiting for 1 full year.
Correct, so I'm okay with that, I'm saying you shouldn't need to wait a year, because then you're getting 2 years to apply, you know what I'm saying? It's, because you're always gonna be in arrears, if someone wanted to come in and say, I wanna get that savings as soon as I can, they can apply with, let's say the day they bought the home, but they're not gonna get the discount until they live there for a year.
But I think they need to know they're not gonna get that
Correct.
discount.
That's okay,
So-
like what's
so-
in there is okay.
Yeah, you gotta at least live here for a year, because you need to have that
Correct.
history, and then it would kick in.
Correct.
So does Wycliffe only allow you to apply January through April and then that's it? There's a deadline of April 30th. Send form with payment by April 30th.
Yep. I would kinda like the same thing, that way I know
Where you're at.
what I'm getting and how busy we're gonna be during that time.
Okay, so that answers your question, then you can't, if you bought a house in November, you can't apply in November, you have to wait until
Well,
January
that's
to April.
probably something that keeps the administrative costs down or prevents the county from charging, is that they're
Because-
only doing this once a year.
They have a whole stack from
The city
Wycliffe.
submits
Right.
in April or whatever, and then they update their billing. They're not doing it every month
It's not-
because
it's
they
not
have
a
somebody
rolling-
new.
It's not a rolling application.
Yeah.
So basically by April 30th every year, you need to have it in. And otherwise,
And
you won't qualify until the following April 30th.
I would, instead of saying say send form by payment April, I would say apply between January 1st and April 30th. Give a start and end date, because otherwise you're receiving forms September, October, July of the previous year, now you gotta hold on to that form.
Yeah.
It's fine with me, that makes sense.
Whatever's convenient for the finance department.
I would like to mimic Wycliffe as much as possible, unless there are things you want to change, let me know, but otherwise, they have it established, they've dealt with complaints, they've adjusted it, why would we try to reinvent it?
How long has Wycliffe been doing this, do you know?
2023, I thought it said in the ordinance.
Yeah, 2023.
Yep, 2023.
As long as we're dropping that owner occupied rule, I think, as long as everyone else is good with that, I think.
Well, I think
that's
we
the
said
only
though
major
that
change.
a rental would not have the sewer bill though, the water bill.
There has to be something, there has to be an additional requirement to verify that they're a long-term renter.
Yeah, and I'd like to figure out how we would do that, I don't know, I'm not.
But I think we start here, I think we start.
You can always add it later.
Yeah, because that's gonna take,
Well, we're not voting on this tonight.
well, we're not, but I'm just saying.
So I'm saying, I think we can give Mandy and our other, people that time, however long it's gonna take to figure out if it is feasible to drop that owner occupied,
Try to sort that out by
stipulation.
the end of the year,
Yeah.
so that it can start effective 2027.
Mhm. Unless you guys have an objection, other than the
I think
administrative.
if we can sort it out by the end of the year, great, but if we cannot, and we want these in our hands
Yeah.
by X dates.
If we can't figure it out by the end of the year, this is fine, the way that it is, but if, I would like for our people to take an attempt at trying to figure out how to eliminate that owner occupied requirement.
I will try, but I'm pretty sure the county is,
Just gotta figure it out based on the other
yeah,
cities.
I will ask, I'll send out the emails and let you know what happens.
Yeah, if it can't be done, it can't be done, but that's how I would like to see it.
Well, because if it can't be done, why doesn't Wycliffe do
Equivalent to
it?
it, yeah. But yeah, if you can just find out, that would be great. But I think then if we can,
I also think
Have
as
this
much
set
as
up.
we are similar with Wycliffe, we are different in some aspects, so maybe they don't have the rental numbers that we do.
Oh, they got the right numbers.
I figured they probably did, or maybe they just have council people that don't like renters. I don't
I'm not
know.
saying I don't like renters.
No, I'm not saying you do, I'm just saying, like, I
I'm just saying-
don't know why they did it this way, if it's an administrative thing, so.
I think it's a county billing thing.
The county billing,
I think
and if
that's
it
what the
is,
issue
then.
is. But I'll ask.
I think we could start
That's all I can
with
do is
this.
ask.
Madeline, you good with it, depending on the response back that we can start with this, we can bring
Oh,
this
yeah.
before council.
Oh, I
Patrick.
have another question.
Yeah,
Do they need to reapply every year, every 2 years, or does it need to be permanent?
Permanent.
I think it's permanent.
Permanent?
Because they're not gonna get the savings but if it's not, they're gonna, the code and the billing, if you didn't water that year, it's not like you're automatically getting your savings, you're just not gonna see the deducting your bill. So if you do it once, they
I
apply.
think permanent up until, or,
It's sold.
As long as the program's still
well,
in
no,
play.
I was gonna say, as long as the county's not charging
Charging.
us anything administratively.
I think we
how
put a
can work
caveat
that
in there that this program can be rescinded.
Or something, yeah, ask Mandy.
Yeah, to
You know.
put something together
You
that.
know, if
As
the
long
county
as-
is gonna start charging administratively, then we may need to implement a fee. So
Okay.
I don't know how, yes. I-
Yeah, have Mandy put something in about this program to be rescinded based on blah, blah, blah. Some legalese.
No?
You know, a reapplication may be required at any point.
Anything else?
Not that I know of. Do you guys want me to send this out in an email and inform you, or do we need another meeting, or how do we?
On the,
On the water program.
I think anything else suffices.
I think anything else is fine.
And then for the minutes for this, I would just post this PowerPoint on the website for this meeting. It is 6:17, so now we have our regular meeting coming up. Is there anything else for the budget? Finance committee joint meeting.
We're gonna have another meeting on the first.
Is that for,
Sewer, are you,
First-
would you, that give you enough time to get all, everything together for September, or would you rather wait until the second meeting in September?
Let's wait till the second meeting.
okay.
Which is the 15th?
With Patrick's blessing, I'm gonna have a meeting about that basketball court. Probably okay on September 1st at 6 o'clock. We only need a half hour.
September
for which
15th would be
committee?
the next.
Public lands?
Right.
Budget.
Okay.
But it sort of encompasses you because
It's if you give you time to get the sewer stuff together.
it's naming the basketball court, not renaming, because the basketball court doesn't have a name. When you stop and think about it.
I'm pointing to Patrick. What time are we gonna do the?
Yeah, I was just about to ask that right next time, look at the calendar on the 15th as well. Did we want to do before council, does that work?
Yeah,
I don't think
5:30.
that's sewers. Should we do 5, or do we expect a long discussion about sewers? No, let's do 5:30.
5:30.
5:30.
I think an hour should get,
So
because we know what's coming.
I just wanna make
Nothing's
sure.
changing next year. I did talk to the mayor of Euclid,
Okay.
this week, so
So,
I have some information.
Well, there's just in the newspaper about their sewer.
Yeah,
I know.
I read
Did you
that.
see that?
Yeah.
What time should we meet on the first trail?
It'll be at 6 o'clock.
so just to say, it will be a joint meeting
Yeah.
of I'm sorry,
On the 15th.
On the 15th, will be joint meeting of finance and sewer. Finance and sewer, meeting at 5:30 PM in council chambers on Tuesday, September 15th. If you guys can just get with Alyssa to put out the appropriate public notices. The discussion is sewer rates for 2027. And then Charlie, I would just wait till till when we do the 6:30, and then talk about your September 1st meeting.
Right. It shouldn't take long.
Anything else regarding finance and budget? All right, meeting is adjourned at 6:20. Thank you.
Thank you.